Hello, welcome back. Always good to see you. You do look startlingly like my camera, but that means you're very handsome. We've got another Jean Paul Gaultier release. They're chucking them out right now. This one is in the Beau range, so I'm going to be sharing my first impressions on Beau Paradise Garden. Stay tuned. Here I have a freshly unopened tin of Beau Paradise Garden. I'm going to be opening this up on camera, smelling it for the first time on camera and let you know what I think. That's going to be my very first initial impressions. Then I'm going to wear it a little bit, come back a bit later and give you sort of an extended first impressions and go into the performance and longevity a little bit. But first, let's just talk about the Beau line and where this one fits in. I'm going to be honest with you, I've been a little bit lukewarm on the Beau fragrances. I think they're good fragrances, and what I think I should do is do what Aaron Terence Hughes does in my videos. He separates his personal preferences from how he thinks the fragrance is done technically, and then you've got a bit more of an idea of whether you might like these fragrances or not. My personal opinion on these two Beau fragrances is that they don't excite me very much. They're okay, they're not bad, they're not terrible. I would like them to have been a little more creative, taken a few more risks. My main problem with both of these actually is, are they a tropical fragrance or are they a sweet woody fragrance? They're sort of in this non-committal no man's ground. They have tropical notes. This one has some pineapple and coconut. This one has coconut. There is a bit of a tropical undertone, but it doesn't go full tropical, which I think if they're going to have tropical notes, they should be going full Virgin Island water. But the fresh tropical burst is subdued by the sweeter woody notes, almost taken over. So it muddies the tropical aspect of the fragrance. So it's neither a tropical fragrance nor a sweet woody fragrance. It's just not got much of an identity. I've worn them, I enjoy them, they're fine, they're easy wears. That's my personal opinion. Now on to what I think about these fragrances technically and mingling in a little bit of the feedback I've had from the public. A lot of people say that they love these fragrances. Many agree with me in that, you know, they're not that interesting, they're not that great, a little bit generic. But so many people in the comments of the videos I've done on these have said, I love it, I get great performance, I get so many compliments. I agree with you on that. I think these are fragrances that are for someone maybe who doesn't own many fragrances, maybe they're not that into fragrances. They want something that is easy to wear, that is going to be liked by lots of people, that's going to pull in a few compliments. For that, I think these are sort of 8, 9 out of 10 fragrances. They do that job. You want a pleasant, easy wear that's going to get compliments, they're going to do that. I think though, you can have all those things in a fragrance that takes a little more risk, that has a little more creativity, that makes itself a little bit more unique. But these fragrances, and often Jean Paul Gaultier releases, don't have that. See my recent La Malle Lover review, and then you've got On Board, Aviator, pleasant, easy to wear fragrances, but I think they could be that and still have a bit more of an identity, be a little more distinctive. For example, if someone's wearing Aviator or On Board, they come up to you and say, hey, can you tell what I'm wearing? I would not be able to tell, but if someone was wearing La Malle or La Malle Elixir or La Malle Le Parfum, I would be able to tell. They are good Jean Paul Gaultier releases. These fall into that category of being a little bit mushy, not that distinctive. If someone was wearing these fragrances, I may struggle to identify them as the Beau fragrances because they smell like so many other fragrances. So to sum that up, my personal opinion would be meh. My technical opinion on what these fragrances are intended to do is very good. Now to Paradise Garden. I am the most excited about this of all the Beau fragrances because it seems like it may be committing to the tropical, aquatic, watery vibes. Looking at the notes, it may be a fragrance that wants that identity of a summer fragrance, a tropical fragrance. I hope Jean Paul Gaultier are nailing their colours to the mast with this one and totally owning this as a tropical, aquatic fragrance. If it does that, there's a chance that Paradise Garden might have a bit more of a distinct identity, and for that reason, this one may be potentially the one that I enjoy most out of this Beau line. It could be the gem of the Beau's. And looking at the notes, looking at the design on the can, it looks like they are going in for that green, watery, aquatic, tropical vibe. If the fragrance can match what they're committing to with the design on the can, then I think we could be in for a little treat. I hope I'm not disappointed by this fragrance, although Jean Paul Gaultier and me do not have a great track record for disappointment. Shall we have a little look? Let's have a closer look. Oh, I can see now that opening this out of the cellophane, we've got this lovely sort of matte finish, and the designs on the tin, pretty cool. We've got some Chinese looking dragons. There's definitely a garden theme. Looks like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, the sort of plant that could devour you, or just devour compliments maybe. Let's have a little look at the bottle inside. What have we got? It's the same style of bottle as the other Le Beau's, but the fig leaf over his bits is like a material, little embroidered material. Interesting. The juice is a little lighter than even the EDT, so that bodes well for this committing to that watery aquatic. The notes are watery notes, green notes, mint, ginger, coconut, fig, salt, sandalwood, tonka bean. I'm not gonna lie, that note breakdown has got my expectations set quite high. If they can make this fragrance smell as good as that note breakdown makes it sound, then they could knock this out of the park. I think it would be a crime to not make this smell good based on those notes. Let's see if Jean Paul Gaultier have committed a crime or if they've given us a gem. Could this become my new summer signature? Let's get it sprayed on. Let's get that mint, the ginger, the watery, aquatic notes, the coconut, the fig, the salt. Guys, from this distance, this is smelling good. Already, I'm enjoying this more than the other Le Beau's. Fruity, but not just a mush of fruit. It's got a fresh, juicy fruitiness to it. The fig with the salt definitely coming through. I'm really glad that that is identifiable because I was looking forward to that from the notes. Oh, it's good. This is good. It commits to the tropical. It commits to the aquatic. We've got the salt to balance out the sweetness a little bit. Lush greens, and there's definitely that Le Beau characteristic. I feel like for the first time, the heart of Le Beau is fully blooming. It is mixed with other notes. It's in a composition that allows it to just come out. Finally, Le Beau has come out. It's not been subdued or suppressed. Its true character is just sailing away on these fresher, watery, aquatic notes. They've unleashed it. That Le Beau DNA, it's unlocked. It smells so much better in a fragrance that is committing to this fresher style. It's like they've taken the lid off and it's just managed to pour out of the can and be what it always wanted to be. One of my concerns was that it was just going to be just a tropical fruit medley and not much more than that, which would have been nice, but perhaps not that interesting. But they've been a little more creative. They've taken a few more risks. Jean Paul Gaultier they can do it if they want to. That fig is beautiful. It gives it a really nice rounded fruitiness, and like I said, offset with a little bit of aquatic saltiness. At this stage, I'm going to come out and say that this is my favorite Le Beau so far. Bear in mind, still initial first impressions. I've only just smelled this. Funny thing with Jean Paul Gaultier, sometimes you can get yourself so excited and you can build it up in your mind. You think it's going to be amazing, like with Le Male Lover, and then it just falls flat. But this one has gone the other way. This one has surprised me and impressed me. That initial burst smells pretty strong, so I think initial projection could be good, but what we need to do is find out how long this fragrance lasts. So me and little Le Beau PG, we're going to spend some quality time together. And no, that's not for your eyes. See you in a few hours.
If you love fragrance as much as I do, head over to my online store, luxparfum.co.uk. You'll find my favourite brands, plus brands you can't find anywhere else in the UK. Link is in the description.
All right, a few hours later, what has the performance of this one been like? It's a fairly thin fragrance. Do we expect more from it than that? It's a summer release, it's a watery fragrance, we've got watery notes, it's aquatic. It's definitely not a beast. I got about 30 minutes of a very noticeable projection, and then it was still projecting up to the hour mark, but not quite as much. And then it pretty much became a skin scent, but a noticeable skin scent as I was moving my arms around, because I sprayed some on my arms. I was still getting a few wafts, but it wasn't hitting me at that full strength, at that full concentration that it did, as you saw when I first sprayed it on. So that initial hit is pretty fantastic. It smells great, juicy, fruity, fresh, invigorating, a little bit sea salty, aquatic, but it will fade to pretty much a skin scent after that. But as I said, a noticeable skin scent. It will come probably in waves, in wafts. It doesn't fizzle out and fade completely. It will still be there. Because of that, I would say definite summer wear fragrance. It's been quite cold out there where I've been wearing it today, and I was losing it in the cold, but I think if I wore this in the high heat of the summer, I'm going to Portugal in the summer where it's really hot, so I'll probably take it there. I think it's really going to excel. The heat will help it bloom, it will help it last longer, it will help it probably project a little more. So I'll have to let you know how it does perform in the high heat, because obviously I've not been able to test that yet, but I suspect that it will be okay. I think it'll do pretty well. So I'm liking it. I can't help but think that there's a niche version of this somewhere. I love the DNA, I love the fig and the salt and the aquatic and the green watery notes. I wonder if there's a niche version out there that just hits all those things just with a little more oomph, you know? I'm sure there's got to be something, but then that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants more oomph to a fragrance that you're gonna wear in the summer. It's just going to be a very nice daily wear, probably not an evening scent for me. Performance, not as good as say the light blue line or the Aqua de Joe line. I think performance for me is better on those fragrances, but it's not terrible performance. Performance doesn't stink. It's still going to be there, but it is quite a lightish style scent. As it dries down, things do tend to develop a little bit for me. The coconut came out more, the fig came out more, so you got this really nice rounded fruity aspect to it, and it even settled into just a little bit of sort of creamy vanilla. I like it. I think it's a good release from Jean Paul Gaultier. It's my favorite of the Le Beau's. It allows Le Beau to be Le Beau. This is like the coming out party for Le Beau. It allows all the best things at the heart of this Le Beau DNA to fully bloom and to fully be realized. And I think that it's great that it's finally found its identity as a watery, aquatic, marine, sea salty, tropical style fragrance. This fella must feel pretty good now being out and proud. If you're in the market for a new spring, summer, fresher, tropical style smelling scent, I think this would be a good option. Have you tried it yet? Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think it's a good release? Do you think it's the best of the Le Beau's? Is it the gem of the Le Beau line? I think it is. Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, you know what to do. Give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do all that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.